Jūs tūlīt uzrunās caur video Eiropas Komisijas Civilās aizsardzības un humānās palīdzības operāciju ģenerāldirektorāta politikas referente katastrofu, risku un noturības jautājumos. Viņu sauc Anna Battistutta kundze. Runās viņa angļu valodā, bet būs arī tulkojums latviski. Jā, lūdzu.
Hello everyone. My name is Anna Battistutta and I'm a policy officer at the European Commission, specifically at DG ECHO, which is the Directorate General for Civil Protection and Humanitarian Aid Operations. I mostly work on disaster risk resilience and I'm also a quality focal point for disability and gender inclusion in the European civil protection. First of all, I would like to thank you for making space for me and my intervention today, and apologies for not being there with you in person. So where to start? The landscape the EU is currently in is a complex one. We have on one side an increase of natural disasters linked to climate change. For example, forest fires. The summer season that just passed was one of the worst on record. Over 1 million hectares of forests were burned. But at the same time, there is not just climate change, there is also changing security landscape with various hybrid threats, as we have seen recently in the news. The EU needs to get prepared for more complex and more intense crises in the future, because this is just our new reality. A year ago, the Ninisto report was published, and its findings are reminding us that resilience is not simply about systems and infrastructures, but it's also about making sure that all individuals are able to contribute and benefit from the response efforts. And when I say all individuals, I mean all individuals, which means regardless of their background, ethnicity, gender, or disability. In addition to that, last year we carried out a survey on the level of citizen preparedness, so the EU barometer on citizen preparedness. That survey showed us a clear message, which is that preparedness is not just about knowledge, it's also about access to information, empowerment and support. Earlier this year, the European Commission presented the Preparedness Union strategy. You probably have heard of it. It's a policy document that sets out our vision on preparedness for the upcoming years, and also gives 63 actions that need to be taken forward in the next couple of years. This strategy promotes an all-hazard, whole-of-government and whole-of-society approach, where the whole-of-society approach is what is of interest for us today. That means that it focuses on ensuring that every citizen, again, regardless or on the gender or disability status, has the tools, knowledge and resources they need to stay safe and resilient in every emergency. And this is really one of the main key messages of the Preparedness Union strategy. This strategy also includes a dedicated action on inclusion for persons with disabilities, with us in the lead from the Commission side. The action is action number 33, and its full name is Develop Guidelines on How to Act in Emergencies, adopted to all types of disability. These guidelines will be delivered by the end of 2026 and will be targeting both the persons with disabilities and also the first responders to truly make sure that in case of emergencies, all parties know how to act. The guidelines have to be seen as an opportunity to step up on the equality agenda and to make sure that everyone feels safe in case of emergency. They will be targeting persons with disabilities, but also first responders, as I already said, and will be adapted to all types of disability, so sensorial, physical, and intellectual. Additionally, this action will also deliver a framework for training for first responders to recognize different types of disabilities and know how to respond appropriately and effectively. So in practice, this action would mean to test equality in action. So a firefighter, a paramedic, or a volunteer should be able and should have the skill not only to save lives, but to do so in a way that respects every person's unique need. The implementation is currently ongoing. It's in early stages, and it's happening with the support from the World Bank and the Global Facility for Disaster Risk Reduction. And it's carried out in collaboration with the European Disability Forum. The involvement of the EDF is crucial, of course, as DG ECHO is recognizing that inclusion means involving those affected early in the process. But DG ECHO's work on inclusion does not start with the guidelines or with preparedness strategy. It started a long time ago. So to enhance preparedness, in the past decade, we have co-funded 23 cross-border projects, which had some vulnerable group component. That's more or less 12 million euros. One of the examples I often give is actually an example from my home country. And the project is Safe and Equal in Emergencies, which aim to contribute to equal opportunities for persons with disabilities in emergency situations. This is just one of the projects that we have funded in the past 10 years. But on top of that, we also have the ERCC, so our Emergency Response Coordination Center that successfully coordinates medical and consular evacuations. And has recently facilitated evacuations of people with disabilities, both physical and mental disabilities, and also their caregivers from a war zone to a safe location. The needs of people with disabilities and other vulnerable groups have always been considered in exercise scenarios. So we do exercises as well. And among the main goals was indeed the inclusion of different population groups. We are also trying to make our capacities as inclusive as possible. For example, our rescue shelter need to be inclusive, where at least 15% of the total units should be accessible to people with some form of disability. Then through the Union disaster resilience goals as well, we are putting particular attention to the consequences of disasters for vulnerable groups. This includes developing the development of early warning systems that are understandable for all. Those are recommendations to member states. To conclude, I would just like to highlight that a prepared society is one where no one is left behind. But more than that, it's a society where every individual, regardless of their ability, background, or circumstance, has the opportunity not to only be protected, but to actually participate, to contribute, and to shape the solutions that keep us all safe, because this is what truly inclusion is. That's it for me, and I remain at your disposal in case of questions via email, and I really wish you a pleasant and successful conference. Thank you.
Paldies, Battistuttas kundzei.